So there we are.
Yep.
I'm sitting here in Denmark, and Richard, my guest, sits there in Ontario in Canada in a van or truck in the heat. And we had an awesome chat, I don't know, a few days ago, a week or 10 days ago. And we actually had to stop because there was so much information coming out from Richard that it's, I'm sure we're going to be filled with stories. So who is Richard? Just very shortly, he lives in Ontario and he's a solutions consultant and helps a lot of people. At least that's what I had the feeling from our last talk. And I guess we are going deeper into how you help people. Welcome, Richard.
Hey, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, and your after name is Zinck, right? Or Zinck, or
yeah, Zinck. Zinck metal.
like the metal, right?
Yeah.
We had also chats about that, you know, being whatever generations from Germany or something like that. So let's just start from the start. How would you describe yourself as a person, right? Like 3 adjectives, and you describe why you use those words to describe yourself.
Full of ideas.
How comes? I guess we come to that right during the interview.
Yes.
Okay. A second word.
Well, it's full of ideas and nonstop and always full of energy.
Full of energy, nonstop, and full of ideas, and I guess doing all the time.
Yes, always building something.
Yeah.
Or somebody else build something.
Yeah, and now I have my dog getting super happy now that we start having an interview, laying in front of me with a toy, making a lot of noise. Yeah, she sometimes realizes when there's a lot of energy, then she gets all excited. Don't know if you can hear her.
Oh, yeah. I did that before. I went to get a contract once before, and I went through all the process, telling people what I do. It was a milk company, telling them how I could help them, how I could work with them. And then after they finished the interview, they took me into another room, and here was the dad. He was sitting there with his dog. And they said, just sit down for a minute. So I sat down. The dog came over. I started patting the dog. Dog started wagging his tail. And they said, okay, we're going to do the contract. And I said, okay. And he goes, you know why? And I go, why? Because our dog likes you.
Oh my God. Okay. If you do business like that, I don't know. I have to change something in my world. Get to animal lovers. I love animals anyway. So another weird question. Let me see how you react on that one. If you would be a new color in a coloring box, what kind of color would you be and why? It could be any color. I mean, it could be transparent. It could be glitter sparkles. It could also be red, blue, and yellow.
Green.
Green. And how so?
I don't know. Green always does something. Green always inspires me for some reason. It makes me feel connected when I'm around green.
So
I painted all my house was green. All the outside was green. I'm always green. I don't know why. I just do it. I just feel proper around it.
Okay, I just remembered today and last time you had a blue shirt, and you talk about green. So when you need extra ideas, are you going out in the forests, or how is it where you live? There's a lot of forests, or?
Yeah, I got a forest right behind my house. There's a big forest, and one of the guys I was coaching, that's what we used to go. I'd go to see him. We'd always go into the forest. We'd walk for 2-3 hours in the forest and talk, and that's where all the ideas came from. Always.
That's yeah. So you feel connected. Now, when you say you feel connected to what?
To me, it's like the other side, the reality, where everything is, where all the answers are, all the crap is gone, and it's just answers in that space. Just answers. That's
Yeah.
always there for me in those spaces.
Yeah, and you get it through green, and as you said, walking in the forest. How many business deals or how many customers did you help by being in nature? How many times does that happen? A lot or just a few times?
Well, it just mostly the one guy right now, because I just started letting go. Like I'm going to be 62 next week, and it's going to be, and I've always held back all my life, always, and because I've always had all these ideas, and I've always held them aside for some reason. And I could tell you the reason. I always felt that all these answers were available, and I felt like if I give those answers to everybody, then I'm going to die. And it's a really weird feeling. It was just a feeling that was there. I was going to die. And so every time I would try to, coach somebody with all the answers that I have now, I would stop, and I would never release everything.
Okay.
And then one of my friends said to me, he says, he says, you're not going to die. He goes, the old you is going to die. The one that you created, and the one society made you be. That person's going to die, and the real you is going to show up.
Okay. Let me see.
So when I coached this landscape, it was a landscaper I coached. When I coached him, I just went with what I got, with exactly what came to me in the spur of the moment. And it was like instant success for him.
Yeah. That's the story we started with last time. I just tried to close down my browser because it's making bing bing in the background. Sorry for that. But yeah, let's see where we go. So green, walking outside, connected to the other side, to where all the answers are. You were afraid of giving the answers and die. Then, so my question is, you said it's only a few years, right? You turn 62 next week, so congratulations to that already. But so how many years are we talking? How long is it ago that you actually said, whatever, I just give whatever comes to me, and I give it on to the people around?
It's been about 7 years now, that I've let it go. That doesn't, but I did a lot before that. I built a lot of companies. I just did them differently.
So what's the difference? What?
Well, see, I think everybody's meant to win. Everybody's meant to win. And everybody's given a gift, a special gift that you're supposed to use, excuse me, to make everyone else win so that you can win. But what I did was I used my gift for myself. So I powerfully used my gift to defeat others so that I could build companies. Oh, and I never felt good about it ever.
Wow. So you did that until you were 55. Okay, let's try to turn a bit back, because I have the feeling, because we talked already to each other, right? So we know, yeah. I mean, I have some kind of background here from our last 1.5 hour talk. Let's wrap a little bit backwards, and I just go to another question, which sometimes also opens up for other fun facts. It's basically a secret or a fun fact people do not really know about you, or just the very close friends or family. Do you have any of those?
Yeah, lots of close friends.
Which one are you ready to share with the world? It's only a few thousand people listening eventually in the future, right?
Yeah. Well, which friends and family? I have 3 boys, a wife. We've been married for 42 years. And I have quite a few friends, like in the business world, the business side, that I've helped over the years in different ways.
So what is the biggest achievement people do not really know about you? Or, as I said, fun fact, I mean, are you walking around in purple slippers at home with a cat soon on it? Or are you, I don't know. Did you go fishing with someone special? I don't know, something.
No, I don't know. I've always been just business. Like I've always been business. Always, like I'll drive into a city. Say I drive into a city with my wife, and I used to have the lunch trucks, the catering trucks, they call them over here. But it was, I would like, we'd be out for a drive. We'd drive into a city, and she'd look at me. She goes, "So how many trucks could you put here?" Like, what are you talking about? She goes, "You're thinking about how many trucks you could put in this city here." And then it was like, "How did you know? Like, how did you know?" Because I'm always thinking, like, what can I do? I always see opportunities all the time. Always see opportunities. And a lot of it is, it's like, because like I say, like it's like the universe is giving me all the answers. So I go to a place and I see answer. All I see is answers all over the place. But it's a matter of like, it's like, well, ideas. But it was a matter of, I had to understand that they're not my ideas. But like once you understand that it's not, the ideas don't come from you, you get more. It's like having, it's like faith, right? You're having the faith that it's there. And once you understand that, then you get lots and lots of them. It's like, say you were in a meeting, you were in a company, and the company's going down, it's going out of business. And the boss calls everybody in to the office, it's into the lunchroom or boardroom, whatever, and says, "Hey, listen, we're going down. I need help. Like, do any of you have an idea how you can save the company?" So you're sitting there and you have an idea. So you say, "Hey, I have an idea. And here's the idea." And the boss says, "Hey, wow, that's great. That's great. You know, we're going to use the idea." So they use the idea. The company turns around and then all of a sudden starts to profit. But the boss goes out and tells everybody it was his or her idea and gives you no credit. Like,
Yeah.
you're never going to give another idea again. And that's the way the universe works. When you accept that the idea is not yours and you give the universe credit, universe, God, whatever you want to call it, you give that credit that it's their idea, then all of a sudden you get a lot of more, and you get lots and lots. So they just keep on coming.
Yeah, I actually forgot. I think you mentioned the same thing, and I was just, my head was just spinning now, like thinking of all these scenarios, right? On going through the business school for me, you know, master in engineering, business engineering, innovation management, and all these things, reading all these different scientific articles. And this is really like one of the biggest sins a company owner can do, is taking all the ideas for himself. You really, as you say, you suppress your employees to come up with more ideas. They rather keep them for themselves or go to somewhere else where they get acknowledged for it. And you just say this is how the universe, God, the one consciousness, the matrix works, is when you say, "What? This is not me. This is some higher force coming through me," then
Yes.
then it will just continuously coming through you. While talking, I just see this picture of a river, and a few years back, 3 years back, I had like this really great talk in a weekend shop where Patrick, his name is, he said, you know, when you're like a big stone against the flow of the water goes around you. And that's like ideas, it's abundance, it's health, it's wealth. He looked more at money, right? In this case, it was more like about, but if you open yourself up to let it through you and let it go faster through you and multiply, then you're channeling up and it will come through you. Don't hold it tight, right? It's like, don't hold the ideas to you, don't hold the money to you, don't hold the things. Be the multiplier.
Yeah, see, because you can only do so much. So you can only do so much yourself. So you need others to make you get more. So what happened? Like, I've been in a lot of newspapers. I've been in every newspaper over here. Like, they've always been writing stories about me because I always had the stories about me. So they would want to do a story and I would try to glorify me through the story. But see, I never really got anything out of it. It never felt good. It never felt right. You know, like it didn't work with others. I thought, you know, hey, just another story on Zinck again, eh? But what I did is, so I had to learn how to give it away. So the last big one I had, I gave it away. Actually, a few of them now. I gave it away to somebody else. And then from giving it away, I built them up, I get more. So I would get like more accounts. Doing these cafeterias I do. I would give I did a story on the one customer, that the first one for this new idea that I had. And the big newspaper here at Financial Post did a story on it, but I got them to do it on him. And then what he did is he showed that to all his friends. And then all of his friends asked me for a cafeteria. See, if I did it on me, it would have gone nowhere.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I can see. Let's wind a bit more back still. I mean, now we have there's so much coming, and let's start actually where we started when we had the discussion. You told me as a child you were, I don't know how big you are. You look tall. That you were a big child, right? And
yeah.
You were bullied around, and for me, it's like this story was really impressive. So what happened when you were, what were you, 10 years old, 11, 12?
Well, I was abused. My father was not a nice guy, very bad guy. And he was abusing all of us at home. And so what I did is I went to school. I thought everybody went through this. And I didn't know it was, like not as much. But anyways, I went to school thinking that when I started going to school that people hurt you. So I stayed away from people. But then by staying away from people, I was different. So being different, I got bullied. But then I realized that I was bigger than everybody else. I was always taller than everybody else. So I thought, well, why? I'm not going to get bullied. I'll just beat them up. They bully me, I'll beat them up. So I started beating them up. Next thing you know, I'm fighting from grade 1 to grade 8. I'm fighting every single day at school. I'm getting abused at home, and I'm fighting at school. And it's something that you create. Once you start fighting, and you're the top guy, then they don't just bully you. They always challenge you because they want to be the top guy. And anyway, so I was fighting every day from grade 1 to grade 8. Every single day I was fighting. And I didn't know, some days like 20 kids would come after me all at the same time. And I would just be like, I'm just going to go like mad and kill the first 2 or 3. And then the rest would run away. And it's exactly what happened. You just hurt the 2 or 3 really bad, and the rest will go away. They don't want to get hurt. But so what happened though inside that? So a couple things happened. So one thing was I had to know everything. I had to know, I didn't know. See, I was always trying to get away from my dad. So I was always trying to figure out ways, I had to know everything about our house and how can I get away from my dad. And then when I went to school, I didn't know when the kids were coming. I knew they were coming every day. I don't know when. They could have got me on the way to school. They could have got me in school. They could have got me in the playground outside. They were always going to get me, and I didn't know where. So I always had to think in my mind all the time, like, where's every gate? Where's every fence? Where's if I have to get away, where do I look? Like, where I have to know everything about everything around me. So I developed this powerful thing of knowing everything about everything, how everything worked everywhere, how every gate worked, how every place was, how every driveway was, where every house was, where every room was. And so I was developing that ability, and I didn't even know what I was just doing it. But then in grade 8, my grade 8 teacher, he called me in. He says, "Richard, why do you fight?" And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Why do you always fight?" I said, "Because kids call me names." He goes, "Yeah, but why do you fight?" I said, "Because kids call me names." He goes, "But why do you fight?" And I go, "Are you listening to me?" He goes, "No, aren't you listening to yourself?" He says, "So they call you a name, you fight them, you beat them up, and then what? They call you a name again." And I said, "Okay." He goes, "So it's not working." I said, "So what do you want me to do?" He says, "Walk away." Says, "Walk away? That's not going to work." He goes, "No, what you're doing isn't working. I want you to walk away. Come back, try it for a week and come back and see me." So after a week, I came back to see him, and I said, he goes, like, "What happened?" And I said, "They stopped." He goes, "See, I just taught you most important lesson in your life." I said, "What's that?" He goes, "I taught you how to respond instead of react, because you always react. I want you to respond." So now if you combine that with me knowing about everything all around me, so if someone called me a name, then what I would do is I would think about everything, and I would think about, how can I win without hitting him?
Oh, so that was the new version of you. Instead of hitting, now you used all that capability you created through you know, if things go bad, how can I escape? Now you use that kind of mindset in how can I get back without hurting them?
Yeah. So what happened? So I went from, in that grade 8, I went from like average to, you know, like just passing student. I went to the top student in school. I won the school letter for the highest marks, because now I was thinking of everything. Like I was always thinking, always, like, as way I could go to a place. It was like really weird, hard to explain. I could go to a place where all the answers were.
Already at the age of 14, or what is it? Grade 8? I don't know.
Yeah, grade 8. I was 13 years old.
13 years old. And you were already then seeing answers wherever you went.
Yeah, but then I went into the, like, my dad tried to kill my mom when I was 17, and I was like afraid of my dad. So this is another piece that of the puzzle. So I was afraid of my dad because I knew him from like when I was very small, and he was abusing me and beating me and everything else. And then he tried to kill my mom. So I fell asleep on the couch, and there was 5 kids in our family. 3 of them had already moved out. I was the second youngest, and my little sister was there. And she came and called me. She says, "Dad, you know, like, Richard, Dad's trying to kill Mom. Dad's trying to kill Mom." I go, "What?" She goes, "Dad's trying to kill Mom." I go in the kitchen, and here's my mom laying on the floor. My dad's sitting on top of her with a knife, like over his head. He's ready to stab her. And it's like, what do I do? Like, you have to think in a split second. What do I do? Do I try to take my dad on? He'd probably kill me. Or do I just let him kill my mom? So I decided I'm going to save my mom. So I got the knife off my dad. I got him off my mom, and I just started beating the hell out of him. And like I was 6 feet tall then, like at that age, and it was he was the same, but I was like all that years of anger and everything else inside, and I just jumped on it and just started plummeting him. But then I'm sitting there beating him, and I thought, I don't want to be him. I'm going to be him. So I just left. I was 17 years old. I was in the last grade, month of grade 13. Like, and I left. I left school. I left everything, and I went out and got my own business. Like I went out. I just started working on lunch trucks because my dad taught me how to do that. But so as soon as I turned 18, I went to the bank and I convinced them to give me a loan. I had no money down, no business plan, nothing, and I got them to give me a loan when I was 18.
So you had no business plan, but you had an idea, I hope.
Yeah, but I just went in. But I didn't know any different. The whole part. If you're taught something, then you do it the way you're taught. You think that's the way it works, but it doesn't mean that's the way it works. That's just the way you were taught. So I went into the bank and I said, I want to buy a coffee truck route and a coffee truck. And the lady says, "Okay, how much you got down?" I go, "Nothing." She goes, "Well, do you have a cosigner?" I go, "No." She goes, "What about business plan? You got a business plan?" I go, "No." She goes, "Well, why do you think I should give you the money?" And I said, "Because, you know, my dad did it all his life. Maybe my dad was a bad guy, but he always paid the bills. And I drove for him. I drove for a couple of, like when I was 16, I drove for him for a year. I said, so I know how to do the business, and it makes good money." And she goes, "Oh." So she goes, "Oh, hang on." And I'll be right back. So she left the room, and she came back and she says, "So you don't want money for anything else?" I said, "Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting a car." And she says, "Just like that?" I go, Yeah. She goes, "Well, how much is the route?" I go, 18,000 for the truck and the route. And this is 1978, a long time ago. But she says, "How much you want for a car?" I said, "I don't know, make it 25,000. Just give me 25." And she says, "Okay." I say, I didn't know any different. I didn't know you're not supposed to be able to do that. So she gave me the money, and I paid it off in 6 months, and I bought a house. Before it was like another 6 months, I bought a house. And I got married because you're just supposed to do it. Like, it was just something you're supposed to do. But I got into the lunch truck business. So you look at everything that happened. So I get into lunch truck business, and it's a territorial business. It was mostly Italians, right? And it was.
I don't know. You're Canadian from Ontario.
Italians, but it's just the way they, in general, in that industry, what happened was they would protect their territory. So if I came into their territory, they would threaten me. Right. So here I go into the coffee truck business, you know, and I learned all this stuff in school, And then here the first day, this guy comes up and he threatens me. He's going to take my business away from me. You're coming into my area. You didn't ask for permission. And I'm like, what? And so he's threatening me. He goes, so what are you going to do? And I said, I don't know. You go after my business, I'll go after yours. And I took all his business away from him in a week. Because basically the thing is, but I learned, see, like I had to learn how to use, like, it's like you abuse the skills, but I don't want to make it sound like that. But what happened is I just knew if I could get them mad, they'd lose. If they threatened me, the more they threatened me, the smarter I got. It would inspire me. So where most people would sneak around trying to take their business, I didn't sneak around, no way. I did up my trucks fancy and I made sure they knew I was there. And I made sure they knew I was coming after them. Because I knew that it would get them upset and mad. And then as soon as you do things in anger or emotion, you lose. You can't think. The way your brain works, you can't access any information when you're upset or even when you're overacting. Any emotion stops your brain from working. So all you got to do to defeat somebody is to get them into an emotional state, and then you can take everything. And that's what I did. So I would build a route, sometimes in an hour, which takes most persons, 2.5 years, 3 years to build. Well, I went to the one city. I knew nobody in the one city, and I built 10 routes there in one month.
But you said up to your 55th birthday, you did these things, but you were not really feeling happy about how you used the knowledge you had.
No.
So how did you feel when you were like, okay, they were going after you, and then you're like, okay, just turn it around. So then I go after your business if you threaten me. So that was a motivation for you, or you still had this weird feeling?
That was motivation. Yes, it was pure adrenaline, because like I knew I could do it. Right? It was like nobody could beat me. But when I came to the city, I won Entrepreneur of the Year in Ontario, Canada, and then I got nominated for Canada. But I wasn't happy, right? So I surprised everybody. I quit everything because I wasn't happy. I could do it, but it also felt like if nobody could beat me. Nobody could beat me at all. So I didn't know when I was going to come across that person that would just take out a gun and shoot me. Like if you're backed into a corner, you're not going to win. You're going to lose. Like, what do you do? Like, when was it that I was going to come across that person, that wrong person? So there was a lot of things going on. I wasn't happy. So what I was doing, I was the king of destroying everybody. Like back in those days, though, in the 80s and 90s, there was a lot of seminars on about how to annihilate your competition. See, and that's what I was good at. So what I did, I ended up quitting everything, and then I went away for about 1.5 years trying to figure out, who am I? Like, what am I doing? I don't want to do this. Like, I can't go around. Like, I had no friends, really, because if you can defeat everybody, then everybody that's your friend is your friend because they don't want to be your enemy.
Oh,
it's not because they want to be your friend.
So, but how,
they don't want to
guide us through that aha moment. I mean, what was this? What was this moment where you realized my friends are only my friends because they're afraid of me, and I want to stay close, and I'm actually the king of destroying everyone. So when I left, I had 35 coffee trucks going in the city, and that's when I quit. I just came in one day and said, that's it, I'm done, and I quit. And I just shut it down and I left. You didn't give it to someone else? You didn't give the business to another person? You just shut down the company, or what?
Yeah. No, my food supplier took it over because I walked away. So he got it for nothing. So anyway, so I left, but I had a lot of the trucks were signed up in my name, and I had to come back and then sign them over to the drivers, like say it was okay. I had to sign papers saying, the leases are okay. I can try, because they were paying me for the leases anyways in our agreement. So I just signed over the lease that they could have the trucks. Like I didn't want anything from them. I just I'm gone. I'm done. I'm going to recreate my life. I'm going to do something different. So anyways, when I came back, I walk in my old building, and here's all these pictures on the wall. And I created a company. It was called Stomach Man. That's how I got all the press, by creating a name that press like to write stories about. So anyway, so I come back to my office, and here's all these pictures on the wall, and I'm waiting for the drivers to come back. Hey, so I thought, take a look at the pictures. Hey, what are the pictures about? Here was pictures of them burning all my stuff, like taking the lettering off the trucks and putting it in a pile, and they burnt all my stuff. And they had a celebration party that Stomach Man was dead.
When you came back, you saw that.
Yeah, so that was the big one for me, seeing, what people really thought about me, from what I was doing.
And how did you see yourself before that? How did you feel the people saw you before you left and came back and saw this, celebration? He's gone, let's burn it.
Yeah, but I really thought I was helping people. And okay, your way doesn't work, so I'm going to take everything away from you. Like a lot of people, like a lot of the companies I took out of business, the trucks, I took everything away from them. Then I brought them back to, and I said, well, why don't you just come work for me, and I'll set you back up again. But you do it my way now. So I thought I was helping them. Like, see, I thought I have a better way. I'll just take everything away from you, and you don't do it that way. Now you can do it my way, and now you'll win. But they were okay before I came.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they had their life and everything. Like, and you really got to think about it. Like, when you can just take from everybody, it's like here's these people. They don't know nothing. They're living their life, and along comes me, and I just take everything away from them. You know what I'm saying? Because I was using all my skills the way that I was taught in school, but school teaches you that. Society teaches you that you take, more for you. And so I started thinking, well, if I can destroy people, maybe I can make people. Maybe I don't have to tell them how to do everything. If I can just show them where the answers are, then they can help themselves.
And that was when you turned 55, about-ish.
Yeah, but it took a long, but I didn't know, they had all this stuff going on, and I'm trying to figure out, what is all this stuff? Like, what is all this information? What are all these ideas? What am I supposed to do with these ideas? See, like, we're taught how to fit into everything, and we don't have to fit into anything. And this is why, like, people are afraid to public speak, because in your life, the way our society teaches us is that, like, I play hockey, I'm one person there. I'm at home with my wife, I'm another person. I go to work, I'm another person. Because I was taught by society how to fit in wherever I go. So now all of a sudden I'm 100 different people. And say I get up in front of a crowd, like, you put me in front of a crowd when I'm being that, I don't know who to be. That's why it's so scary. Because you don't know that here's all these people in front of you, and here, like, so who am I? Who are they? I don't know who they are. Am I going to see them? Am I going to see them at work? Am I going to see them at hockey?
Okay.
Like, your brain goes completely crazy, and that's where all the fear comes from, because I don't know who to be. And then if you throw in some of my hockey buddies are there, and some of my family's there, now it's really confusing. That's why it's so scary. So we're not supposed to fit in anywhere. See, we're supposed to be who we are. Just be who you are. And then people come to you based on what you say. So we already know how to do that. We already know how to try to fit in. So if people are saying this and this and this over in this crowd, that's what I'm going to say, and I fit in. Right? So it gets really interesting when you really dive into it. Like, it took me a long time to figure this out. So I'm fitting in all these places, so I know how to fit in. So why don't I just fit into me? So all I have to do is say who I am, and then everybody's going to show up. And that's what's happening now. They just come. Like, you came. I don't even know where you came from. You showed up.
I thought you came, but who knows? I mean,
I know, but you showed up, right?
You showed up.
So,
what can I say? I mean, seriously, I mean, yeah, we met on LinkedIn for the people, but neither of us knows who wrote to whom first, right?
Yeah.
If you link send the connection to me, or if I send a connection to you, because I'm not really the one which goes out and sends a lot of connections generally, but sometimes I do. And I said, hey, let's talk. I mean, your profile looks interesting. Like, yeah, but I'm different. That was your answer. And then we had like this intro talk. So to be sure, right? But it's really, for me, like that. There's so many open questions. I mean, you say
Okay,
you
so can I
went
give
away.
you something?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're fitting in, like, think about this, like really think about it. So you're fitting in. So this goes back to my experience, right? Of they burning my stuff. So we think that we can fit in. We don't like the rules of that group, but if we fit in and we get enough power, once we're at the top of that group, we can change the rules. You can't. See, everybody is in that group because of what is said in the group. So if you reach the top of a group, say it's work, you go to work and you say everything you're supposed to say, next thing you know, you're running the place. Nobody's going to follow it. As soon as you try to, you actually think you have the power to change the rules, you can't. Because as soon as you change the rules, everybody goes against you because that's the group. So let's switch it to the other way. So now you're you, right? You're being you. You're being you 100%. So now you're being you. When you get to the top of being you, everybody's there because of who you are. You don't have to change anything. And if somebody in the group tries to take over you, they're going to be defeated because they're not part of the group. Yeah. The group is there because of who you are and what you said and what you do.
And your beliefs, your strategy, your vision.
Yeah, everything you did drew them all in. Yeah,
and that's what it's also a part of my studies. I'm like, why the fuck are we not using it? Why don't we see it in the world, right? And then I worked and like, no, this is not how the world works. But I follow Mind Valley and Vishen Lakhiani, and he had something like similar, like you say, right? He built up his company himself,
yeah,
but he started getting all the feedback from his employees. So setting the goals and all these other rules, until one of his former employees became a coach and had a longer talk with him, and they sat down and were thinking about everything. And Vishen, in that case, realized that most of these goals and all these visions were not his, but it's his company. It was like his employees. So now he recame and said, this is my company. I made it because I had a vision, I had a goal, I have a drive, and he re-implemented it. And half of the staff left in 3 to 5 months, I think he said. But he attracted the people which felt in resonance with his vision, with, because being himself instead of being a leader or being a person you think you have to be. So that's one example I remember. And you say it nicely from your life, right? Be yourself and you will attract the people which resonate with you. So you can build whatever vision you have. But that's awesome. So there's of course all these wearing masks. So one of the questions popping up while you were talking about, fitting in your, I know you're Canadian, so that's why the Canadian hockey, right?
Yeah.
Wayne Gretzky and stuff like that. Whatever Canadian movie, someone is playing hockey. And family and business and friends and all this stuff. So who have you been at home? Have you changed as being a husband and father and brother, or have you always been that person? Only outside you were different?
Yeah, but I've been more of myself at home all along, but I still put up the walls, right? And like I would never cry. Like I never cried ever. I took this one course and I finally it's where I really seen where my inner child was. So I did this video called My Inner Child. And I introduced my inner child. If you Google Richard Zinck inner child, it'll come up. And
okay, we have to find that one.
Yeah. So what it was, that was the first time I ever did anything from inside. So what I did is I always do sales talks all the time. I would do talks and people would clap and but whatever. Like they would just be, yeah, okay. It wasn't inspiring. You, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't, I never got like, because I look at the eyes. I see people's eye when I'm in front of the crowd. I look into their eyes, and I can see if I'm reaching or not. And I knew I was never reaching who they are. I was there, and it was like the same old talk that everybody else is doing about how you destroy your competition and blah blah blah, all that stupid stuff. But anyways, I went to this thing. It was called Mo Mondays, and the guy said to me, he says, "You got to do a talk from your heart." And I said, "What?" He goes, "You got to do a talk from your heart." And he goes, I said, "What do you mean, like feelings?" He goes, "Yeah." And I go, "No, I don't have any feelings. I'm a guy. I'm not supposed to have feelings." He goes, "No, but if you don't talk from your heart, you can't talk on my stage." And I got my anger thing going again, like inside, like, who the hell are you to tell me what to do? Like I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to talk about sales. And here he is telling me to talk to my heart. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to show him. I'm going to talk from my heart, and everybody's going to boo me off the stage. You watch. They're going to boo me off the stage. So I get up there and I introduced my inner child. I thought, okay, I'll introduce my inner child to them. And it was like instant standing ovation at the end. Instant standing ovation. And then everybody lined up, and they were all lining up, and they come up and they said, "Thank you. I met my inner child today." Not mine. They met theirs after I did the talk. And that was the first time I ever tried that. And it was like oh man, it was so emotional, like to try to let it out in front of a crowd of people, to let it out like, this is who I am. But it was like it was inspiring for them, but it was inspiring for me. It was like the start of, holy, there's something in there. I got to let this guy out all the time. Right. And it was that was there. Like the other thing was, like, I was telling you, like, I had lots of stories written about me in the newspapers about all these things I did, all these companies I built. I built one company of 30 million a year and a half for somebody else. Right. And then from nothing, I was the first one employee. Within a year and a half, we were like $30 million a year of a company. And that was all for nothing. But so I wanted to write. So I all these stories were written about me. Now I want people to hear from me what's in here. So I tried to write, and I hired this lady to help me. And I sent her a bunch of articles, and she said, she sent them all back to me. She goes, "They're all garbage." I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "They're garbage. That's what everybody writes." She goes, "I want you to write like nobody's going to read it but you." So she goes, "You're trying to impress everybody. Stop trying to impress them and just be you. Just write like you're the only one that's ever going to read it. So you can say whatever you want to say." So I wrote that, and she got me cover story in a major magazine all across Canada, 450,000 copies. And even they sent it to Quebec, and they transferred it into French. And it was like, what? So then I was thinking, what? Like, so I get my stupid thing going on inside me going, she's screwing me here. Like, she got me a cover story, but she's screwing me. She's tricking me. She knows everybody. Why would they print that article on the cover? Like, just because I wrote what I think. Why would they print that on the cover? So she's screwing me. So I thought, okay, so then this other magazine, or Profit Magazine, they had an article contest. Give us your best selling tip. So I thought, I'm gonna show her. I'm gonna write what I think, best selling tip. I'm gonna write my own thing, my own way, and watch. I won't even get mentioned. So I write my own thing, and I wrote about hockey. I wrote about Wayne Gretzky. I wrote about, why does Wayne Gretzky go around the back of the net? Why does he go around the back of the net? And it's because he plays the crowd. He plays the environment. He, just like I did in school, and just like I did in business. He's playing the environment. He goes around the back of the net because he wants to know who's on the ice. Because he knows everybody's move. And I don't even know if he knows that he knows it. He just does it. It's just natural for him. So he goes around the back and he knows if I move like this, that guy's going to move like this. He knows every guy. So he, in a second, he can figure out how to get from this end to the other end and get the puck in the net. That's why he goes around the back of the net. That's like selling. That's like if you want to sell your product, you got to learn how to see what the environment is out there. What's the environment you're facing? How do you get your product from your factory into their house? You go through the environment. So you got to go through the environment, figure everything that's in your way and get around it. So that's what I wrote about. So a couple months later, I'm driving in my truck. I'm always in my truck like now, but anyways, I'm driving in my truck and I get a phone call. And I pick it up and he goes, yeah, this is Rick Spence from Profit Magazine. I go, yeah. And he goes, just calling you to tell you won our contest. And I start laughing. He goes, what are you laughing for? I said, because I wrote about hockey. He goes, yeah, it was brilliant. He goes, we're all talking about it. All of us are talking about your story. Everybody else wrote the same old stuff. You know, customers right and always right and all that same old cliches. He goes, you're the only one that come up with something different. So I won. But that was from being who I am, being me.
And we all these stories you have shared, these are around your the last 7 years, or is that even more back?
This is over my life. That story was in 2001. I won that contest, but it's been all pieced together. See, now I'm ready. But when I first met my wife, she said to me, she goes, you're a minister. And I said, what? And she goes, you're a minister, but you're going to be a minister that's different than anybody else. That was over 40 years ago. I always said, like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Man, you're crazy. I'm not a minister. And she goes, but you are. You just have to see what it is that you're a minister for. And see, I know, like you got like one-hit wonders. Say like a guy that writes a song and he gets a, top popular, like one-hit wonder, like a top hit. And if the guy or girl, if they think they wrote it, they get no more hits. They're done. That's why there's so many one-hit wonders. If you look at the people that write song after song after song, if you watch videos on them, they'll say, I don't know, I was in a room and it came to me. The song came to me.
Yeah.
Like they're acknowledging that it's not them. So when they acknowledge it's not them, they get more. So it's like all these one-hit wonders. Like if I could show them, like could get them to understand how it works, they could get lots of songs because they're supposed to write the songs. That's what they're there for. See, every song, every TV show, everything that's around us, everybody has a skill, and your skill is to be used to help others. So that song, it's a message. Everything's a message. Everything's a message. But if you listen to the message, if you're thinking that song is entertainment, you get entertainment. If you think that song is a message, then you get a message.
Oh, I have realized that, right? The songs we have listened to for whatever 20 years ago, and we're going to party, and you're like, oh, I want to have like some whatever Clawfinger or whatever they were called, or some of these bands 20, 30 years ago, and you listen to it and you're like, Jesus, there's a message there. And I haven't heard that when I was, listening to it 20, 30 years ago. But it's also our development, our change of mindset, our growth personally, which opens up for new messages that come through.
Yeah. So we are taught in our society, we see with our eyes, we hear with our ears. That's what we're taught. But we don't. We see and we hear with our soul. So the song, it's not what they're singing. It's what inspires you. Like, it doesn't matter what they sing about. It's going to trigger something in you. See, your eyes and your ears trick you. They trick you away from the message. It's in your soul that you hear and see it. You get what I'm saying? Like, It's a completely different thing. But like I said, but if you're looking, if you see it, you ever see the computer generated pictures? Like, so that you see a picture, but there's a picture in the picture, right? If you change the way you look at that picture, you see another picture. And it's the same with the songs, with the messages. They're all right in front of us. They're right there, but we can't see them because we're seeing with our eyes and our ears. We're seeing and hearing with them. That's, so you gotta listen with your soul and see with your soul. So they're gonna say something and you're gonna get a different message, but you got it from the song. The song inspired you to get that message.
Yeah, it's giving you certain emotions. It's giving you inspiration, right? And I know that many times of you listen to some music and you just feel inspired to do something, right? You feel inspired to go out. You feel inspired to move. You feel inspired to draw. You feel inspired to create or build or whatever it is, right?
So here's another one for you. So now we were trained by society to fit into everything, right? So what we do is, if you get the message, if you actually hear the message with your soul, you're going to get it. You're going to go, that doesn't fit in. I'm going to change it so it fits in. And then you destroy the message.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So you're sitting there, you get the message, you get a feeling, it comes to you, the message comes, you get it. Like, so now you learned how to get messages. So now you get the message, you got to do it. Don't change it. Don't do anything different with it. Get the message, not going to make any sense to you whatsoever. Just do it. Just do it the way it came to you. That's the way you're supposed to do it. But we're trained to switch it, and then we destroy it. And then it doesn't work. We go, messages don't work.
Yeah, and that's because we
don't work. You changed it. Don't change it.
And I guess
it came to you the way it's supposed to work. Just do it.
Yeah, and I think it's because we think too much about it, whatever we were taught, right? And we use our mind or our ego to kind of fit it in because probably because of fear of how will people look at us. I mean, you just shared two stories. I mean, the one of presenting your inner child, being sure it's all going to be bullshit, right? So something in you said, whatever, this is not right. And then you had the standing ovation. You went through the fear. You went through the whale of whatever, your mind of distortion. And the other one was of writing the story in whatever fancy way you wanted. Also saying, now I'm gonna show you that you just used your network to get me on the cover. And I'm going to prove to you that it's just, that's the way. But you wrote out of whatever came through you. And again, it proved to your ego, it proved to your mind, no, here, you're channeling through you. You're the vessel, which is giving the message.
Yeah, because you don't have to see, everything's there. Like, everything's there. I don't have to prepare. Like, if I want to do a talk, like, I used to prepare it. I used to be nervous as hell because I'd think I'm going to forget stuff because I thought I was it. I'm just the messenger. Like, once I acknowledge, hey, I'm the messenger, then all of a sudden, then everything's easy. There's no fear. Whatever, just put me up there. Let me do my thing. I just got to let it come out. It's all there. It's coming. Let it come out.
Yeah, and that was also the agreement for the podcast. You said, you're ready whenever. I just have to ask the questions and it will come out through you. So, I mean, there's so many things. And I'm like, Jesus, the can of worms just gets bigger and bigger. More and more input, more and more ideas come to my head. I mean, I do not really know where to continue. There's so many paths I can take. So, to go back to wearing the mask, I mean, many of the things we were talking about now was like wearing the mask, right? And trying to fit in and trying to change the message that comes through you, change the answers to fit in. And so, but how did you learn to be yourself? Was it these two stories? Were they like these aha moments? these game changers for you in your life, or was there something else which said, hey, now, boom, how can the listeners, I mean, I think we're going to use it for the from depression to expression, right? I mean, I would say your abuse as a child and the aggression, that was kind of like a depression because you were not expressing yourself. You were forcing life.
Yeah.
Where now you express yourself more. You're more in flow, I have the feeling, and also when you talk. So, but how can the listener say, yeah, I know, I'm running against this rubber band. I'm running against the quicksand. I'm running against the wind or whatever it is. I want to be myself, but how? What are there any mindset changes or any exercises? Are you doing any meditations? Going with Native Americans and playing the drums, going in sweat huts? I have no idea. What would, from your experience, be a tip where to start to say, hey, this is who I am. This is, I can be proud of myself. People will come to me.
Well, a lot of it is, like I say, like, write a story. You got ideas. Write stories like no one's going to read it but you. It's the biggest, and you're going to find out who you are. Like, don't try to impress anybody. Just write stories from what you feel, what you think, what's coming to you. Just write it. Like, and you're going to find out who you are. And the biggest thing, like, you don't have to do anything. Okay. So it's all inside of you. See, some people will you look at like some brilliant people in life, right? Look at Steve Jobs. Like, he had all the ideas coming to him, and he died young because he abused, like your body is like your temple, and if you abuse it, so see what people think. Like, I all I can tell you is what I feel, right? What I feel, what I think. So it's all inside of you, and because we build this like wall, to protect us from the world. So you got to let the wall down. So what's happened is, if I take drugs, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't take drugs. I've never done it in my whole life. If I take drugs, my wall comes down. So what will happen is, so it's like if you take a car and you add alcohol to the motor, it can go real fast, but the motor's going to die. You know what I'm saying? So if you abuse your body, you take drugs and whatever you're drinking to try to inspire you, you're destroying your temple. You're destroying your receiver. This is your receiver. This is who you are. This is your receiver to receive all these ideas. If you destroy it, you're not going to live. You're going to die. So it's in you already. Like, once you understand, everything is inside you. All the answers are inside you. It's learning that you can access them. If I call you a name, you don't have to call me a name back. You don't have to, but we think we have to. That makes sense? Like, you can stop. It's like I always try to explain this. If I throw a ball against the wall, it comes back to me. If I throw it hard, it comes back hard. If I throw it soft, it comes back soft. It's like action, reaction, action, reaction, action, reaction. So when you understand that you can throw the ball really hard and you can stop it in midair and you can put it wherever you want. When it comes off that wall back at you, you have the power to stop the ball and to decide where you want to put it. See, we're so used to, you call me a name, I call you a name. You throw a stone at me, I throw a stone at you. It's action reaction. So when I was like building all the businesses, I just knew, well, if that's action reaction, if that's the way it works, then all I got to do is throw something at them, and I know how they're going to return it. So I know what to do with it. See what I'm saying? Like, I would drive after these guys. I would make sure they seen me. They would come and they would threaten me. They would get out of there, like they'd take their truck and come after me, and they would threaten me. And I'd say, what's your name? And they go, why? Because I always went to the police. So the guy says, you gonna go to the cops? I go, yeah. Oh, I'll go with you. and they'd go with me to the police. And then the police would see me and they go, oh, somebody threatened you again? I go, yeah, this guy right here. And the guy, the cops would say to him, hey, did you threaten him? He goes, yeah, I'm going to break his legs. The cop would say, okay, you're staying. See what I'm saying? Like, I know what they're going to do already. Right? And so think about all that in your life, all the people that are controlling you that way, because they know. See, if I walk up, if I'm a poke you in the side person, I come up, I poke you in the side, you jump. I'm going to be poking you all the time because you're always jumping. That's what I wanted.
But how can, we came from, how to be yourself. But how can the listeners stop that behavior? I mean, you shared it with the story when you were in the 8th grade, right? Why do you beat up? Just walk away. So now when you say, when you provoke people with saying names, throwing things at them, poking them on the side, what is a good tactic to actually not react, but act? And, where would you say people have to come from if they're poked all the time?
Yeah, it's just a matter of responding. Like it's a matter of knowing that you can respond. See, we think we can't respond. We think we have to do it. You call me a name, I have to call you a name back. Because if I don't call you a name back, I lose. No, if you call me a name back, you lose. I'm telling you. See, it's just like the teacher saying to me, why do you fight? So you're doing all this stuff. People are doing all these things and they're losing. And they think it's got to do with something else. It's all got to do with what we do. Yeah. It's about, you have a choice. You don't have to respond the way you got it, the way somebody said to you. You don't have to.
So how do you respond now? Now in the last 5 years, when someone comes and pokes you and calls you names or whatever? Don't know how the life in Canada is.
Yeah, no, but I'm just used to it now. It's like, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah.
But what? That's my new word. Whatever. Like, if you want to call me whatever, okay, no problem.
Yeah. So I'm also thinking of, the attitude of gratitude. Many talk about attitude of gratitude, the act of forgiveness, respond from the heart, compassion and unconditional love, and all these things. How do you see that for your life?
See, okay, so the thing is, so when you get an idea, you don't have to say thank you. See, again, like that's another thing, it's words, right? You don't have to say thank you to God, universe, but you don't have to say, you have to be it. I can go around and say good morning to everybody every day and never mean it, and everybody knows that I don't mean it. But if I go around saying good morning and I mean it, like good morning, how you doing today? And I mean it, they know I mean it. They know when you don't mean it, and they know when you do mean it. It's being it. It's being like, once you get that the ideas are not ours. Like, once you understand how the system works. So like, we get the idea, we use it right away, the way it came to us, and we get a result. And we say thank you inside. We don't have to say it in words. We have to be it. Thank you. Like, thank you. Give me another one. And before you know it, you've got ideas coming like crazy.
Do you also feel it? I mean, when you say be it, I just imagine yesterday was the 21st, right? The longest day. Here in Denmark, it is quite long when it's not cloudy, at least. And I just shared some information with my friend from Texas about, ideas coming through me. And I just felt this warm feeling in my heart talking about these things. Is that kind of like when you feel the thank you, when you are the thank you?
Yes. Yeah. It's not, you don't have to force it. You don't have to make it up. You just have to be it.
Yeah, it just comes up.
It's not, I can tell you everything. It doesn't make any difference what anybody listening could hear all the things I said and say, yeah. It doesn't make any difference. Whatever. This guy's crazy. whatever. So I'm crazy, whatever. You can just go on living the way you have. And if you're not happy, you're never going to be happy.
Yeah.
Whatever. That's up to you. But it takes time. It took me 62 years of my life to get here. It's not like it happened yesterday, like just in one day. I had to learn all these experiences. I could talk for hours and hours about all the things that happened, all these different stories that came, and all the newspaper articles and the writings and all these things that happened. And then now I can look back at them now and see why it happened. Again, it's all in action reaction, and how it's like looking at the environment, seeing what happened in the environment. What happened? What made that happen? And like taken away from, it's not me. And I think it's me, then I think I'm controlling everything. It's like all these people that they say they invented an airplane, they invented flight. It was always here. You didn't invent it, you discovered it. Like, do we think we're that big that we could make an airplane fly? We just found out how an airplane flies. We didn't make it fly. That's not us.
Yeah, and that just boom gave me like, we do think we are that big, and that's the whole problem in 2022. 2020, 2022, the last 2 years shows how much we as people generally think we are the thing, right? Luckily, there's many people on the planet which think like, no. There's something like you which comes through us. We are discovering, but there's plants, there's animals, there's a planet. We are just a part of the whole thing, but still many people think they are the thing. And I can also see you mentioned control and letting go, and controlling is very bad. And I really try to let go of control, right? When I'm painting or doing something, I'm actually fearful of just painting because I have the feeling it's bullshit, it's crap. But I think that's, right? So I don't know yet. That's the path to just let your body, your hands draw, paint. It might look shit, but the more you do it, suddenly something will come through you, which is your own, or like is meant for the being you are, for the gifts you have to share. Not everyone should paint or draw like Picasso. Not everyone is writing books like Stephen King, or sing like whatever, Three Doors Down, for taking a Canadian band. But still it comes through us. So another, there's again many things.
You can't control the idea. You can just do it.
Yeah, just do it, right? And there's somewhere on my list of ideas to ask you. I have no overview with all these notes. The just do it and thinking. I mean, that was really, for me, it was like, how should I grasp that? Because the last months, I really see the overthinking being the problem for depression for many people, right? The crazy scientists, especially artists and scientists, get depressed because they're highly intelligent and they're used to ask themselves, how can I improve? What do I want to share, right? This continuous thinking, this overthinking, the 5 whys. A problem, why is that a problem? Because of that. Okay, why is that a problem? Because of that, right? So you're overthinking all the time. So it's not the negative thoughts which are really the problem, it's actually the thinking. And then you come along and you share, like, because you were bullied and you were fighting back, you always were attentive on the surroundings to know where's the exit, where can I climb over, where can I dug under, how does everything work? So you started to actually, I don't know, were you a thinker or an observer of your surrounding?
I was an observer of the surroundings.
So
I just wanted to see what was there.
Yeah. So you taught your brain to observe and basically create a map or an understanding, or so you were not thinking all the time. So you were observing, which then would make sense, right? Because otherwise you would all the time, this would just like. So for you, how does the just, I mean, last time when we talked, you said, I do not know, I just do. And then you also said, I don't know how, I just know. And when that was always there, right?
Yes.
And in the beginning of this interview, you said you had a friend. Let's take us there, because now you put a few puzzle pieces along, right? A very brutal father where you overcame the fear, you learned how to react. Then writing from the heart for yourself, so no one is listening, but the whole Canada was reading.
Yeah.
Sharing on a stage where you said, now I'm going to prove that everyone is going to laugh and leave. And all these like little puzzle pieces. And then you have your friend, which said, your thoughts, your ideas, your solutions will not make you poor. They're here to help others. When did you realize that there's abundance? I mean, look at the forest. You cannot count the leaves or the grass or the branches. It's abundance. So, and I think the ideas and the thoughts and the solutions are abundant, there's like endless.
Yeah.
So when did that click for you, that you don't have to keep them for yourself for competing? What was the talk really about, that it made you like, whoa, shit, man, I can help? And what happened after that? How did it manifest?
Because I started to let go. I started to let things happen on its own.
So, I mean, who was it who told you? Like, what kind of friend was it? Just someone or someone close to you?
A very close friend of mine that I work with right now. That's like about dying. I was talking about dying, and he goes, "No, the old you's gonna die. New you's gonna show up." Like when he told me that was it. That was the breaker. It was like, oh, that's what it is. I knew something was gonna die.
That was that simple? You realized, like, out of nothing, oh, it's just my ego. It's just an ego death. Nothing to worry about. I mean,
but it's also like, so we created these, I didn't create it. I just started doing these cafeterias, self-serve cafeterias. So I seen them in the States. I seen them in the US. There was none in Canada, but I seen them in the US. So I'm not even like whatever. I seen them. I thought, well, okay, whatever. They could probably work. And then I get an email from the University of Toronto saying, hey, we want you to come speak at our entrepreneur class. Can you come talk to the entrepreneurs? And I thought, okay. And the guy goes, well, we don't pay you. I go, it's okay. No, but I wouldn't mind. I would love to go. I love talking to entrepreneurs. So like, okay, I'll come out to come do it. So I go there, and here's this guy comes up to me, goes, I'm speaking before you. He goes, but I don't have time to stay and talk to you today. I want to take you to lunch. And I'm sitting there, okay, whatever. So he goes up and he starts talking about how he got this website. He created this website, and he sold it for millions of dollars to Yellow Pages. And then he's talking about, hey, I'm 32. I'm like, got lots of money, but I'm too young to retire. So I'm an investor. And I'm thinking, I haven't asked him anything. I haven't offered him anything. So I thought, this must be the universe giving me an opportunity. So I'll just go with it. So I went for lunch. He goes, you got 5 minutes. Tell me what's in your head. I'm like, what? He goes, tell me what's in your head. So I said, I don't know. These cafeterias, I've seen them in the States. I don't have to invent it. It's already created. I can buy the software. Anybody can buy the software. We can buy the software and put it in cafeterias here. And he goes, really? He says, can you get business? I go, getting business is easy. Running it's hard. He goes, no, you're backwards. And I go, no. He goes, can you get business? I said, yeah, hang on. So I made a phone call, and I got an appointment to go see a factory for the next day. But meanwhile, I got nothing. So like in the old world, I would have, tried to prepare and then take time and then try to prove it to this guy. By then I would have lost him. So anyway, so I got the appointment. I go, there, I just got the appointment. He goes, you get the account tomorrow, I'll give you the money. And I knew that they had 4 factories. And I thought, well, if I can get one of them, then, then I can try to get the other 4. If it works, I'll get the other 4. So I go to the meeting. And again, I'm always prepared. I'm always ready all the time, because I always play the universe, like the atmosphere, right? So I'm always like, be ready so that everything's going to happen. So I went in there and I thought, okay, this time I'm just going to be with the universe. I don't have to do anything. The universe is giving this to me. So I went in, the guy says, oh, he says, you got a card? I go, no. And he goes, you don't have a card? I go, no, I don't even have a company. I got nothing, and I don't know how to do it. And he goes, what? And I go, no, but I seen it here. I go on the internet and I show you. I go, here's what they have. Here's how it works. It looks really good. It looks like a store inside your factory with nobody working there. It's all self-serve. And he goes, that looks nice. I said, yeah, I don't have to figure it out. I just buy the software. I can do it. I've done food service all my life, so I can do it. He goes, oh, can you do 4 factories? I didn't even have to do the first one. So I had to go back to the guy and get the more money to do all of them. But see, to say that it was given to me. See, before I was planning and thinking and reacting and not had to do anything. It's like, here you go. Here's an opportunity. The guy wants to give you money. Do it.
Yeah. So what I can see is just like a very close friend of you probably has a bit better understanding already there, seeing that your ego is playing you with all this, I don't give the ideas away because I will, and like, no, it's just a part of you which will die. And it's fascinating that you were so easily letting go of that so fast and readily. And short, how long was it after that you had this interaction with this guy? You just went there, you're like, hey, well, I love that, I don't have to be paid. And then this coincidence, synchronicity happened that you had an investor just talking to you and everything just played out and you didn't think of anything. I mean, if you would have tried to come up with a plan for the next big business, you would have burned out, basically.
That's right. I would have taken a long time trying to figure out how to make it fit in, how to make it work, how to get everybody happy,
how to get the money
to see it.
And also get the investor and everything. And that way everything came to you. But how much later was that when you said, you know what? I let go of my old ego. Now I'm ready for the universe to share with the world and I'm going to support others.
That's like 5 years more.
So it took like 5 years, but during the 5 years you
practicing.
So how was it? I mean, before you were, 7 years ago, 55, how were you when people ask you about God, the universe, matrix, whatever it is? But how would you have answered back then? Before?
I didn't believe.
You didn't believe?
I didn't believe at all.
So it was just you. It was like, fuck it. These are my ideas. I'm crushing it.
Yeah, because I was fighting all my life. Even when I wasn't fist fighting anymore, I was still fighting. I was just fighting differently. See, I was fighting everything all the time. I thought I was it. I'm the one. I make everything happen. Right? But I was never happy because I had I'm telling you, I had no friends. Everybody was just so afraid of me that they would just say they were my friend. But as soon as I showed a weakness, they jumped all over me. Every time I tried to open up and be a friend to them, then I got destroyed. The only way to keep everything going was to be forceful all the time. That's the only way I could win. That way.
So, I mean,
I always had to be the threat.
I mean, my body reacts to what you're saying, right? So I don't know if it's just my mind making it up or whatever, but I can feel this tension in my body now. Right? So like make things happen. How are you feeling energetically, physically, emotionally, body-wise? Did you have any diseases or, thinking of 30 years of 30 years of this tension? I mean, that must be taxing on the body and
it's not, because I never drank, never smoked, never take drugs. So like I'm overweight, but like I'm losing weight now. Now I'm going like I can do anything. So I lost like the 35 pounds in, I don't know, 4 weeks.
What?
Because I know that I can do it. Like all I do is I don't have to know how to do it. I just told my wife, what do I got to do to lose weight? She goes, stop eating all the sugar and bread and all this. I'll make you some fruits and veggies and all that to take with you. Just eat that. So she makes me a lunch every day, when I never would let her ever do that before in my whole life. And then I just lost a whole bunch of weight.
Wow. So your wife must love you now. Like you listen to your wife now. I mean,
yeah, no, but she has gifts too, right? See, around the house, we built this it was like a provincial park in our backyard. My one son, he's like a landscaping guy, and he was like 14 years old, and he said, Dad, I want to build like these ponds, different levels, and you know, in a waterfall and stairs going over the waterfall.
Oh,
And and he was like, can we do that in the backyard? I said, yeah, whatever. Okay. You know, I'll give you a hand and we'll do it. So he just started doing it, but I would help him. We get all these rocks. We go around and bring all these huge rocks to our house, and I could build up this like provincial park in our backyard. And I'd come in after, you know, at the end of the day, and my wife would go, she goes, you're not building out there. I go, what? She goes, you're not building, you're getting ideas. I go, what are you talking about? And she goes, your body, it's like you make your body busy so your brain can go somewhere. So your body's just doing the work. And in your brain, you're gone somewhere else. And she says, I can see the ideas coming into you while you're working. So you're figuring out how to defeat everybody, all your competitors and everything out there, aren't you? And I go, you can see that? Like, I never told anybody that's what I did. Like, if I wanted to come up with an idea, I'd start sweeping. You know, if I am in one of the companies I created, and I'd start cleaning stuff. I would make myself busy so that my brain could work. Like, all stuff that I don't have to even think about. I could sweep and I could do all this stuff because I don't have to think about it. Right? It just freed up my brain. So, like, when people say they meditate and all this stuff is in us. Like, the big secret is once you get how it works, once you can see the combination, how it works, and you know that it's inside of you, and all you got to do is open it up. You don't have to sweep. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to do anything. You just have to be.
yeah, man. Now, there's like two things in my head. Once, your wife tells you she sees what the idea is coming to you. Two, you're physically working, cleaning up, or, you know, bouldering stones around in your backyard. But now you also say just be. So did you use, until a certain point in your life, physical activity to have ideas, or were they just coming no matter what, in the shower, while cutting grass, while driving a truck, while hopefully not being together with your wife? But when are the ideas coming? I mean, so for some people, it's really to actually meditate, to slow down the brain. But now we know you're an observer, so your brain is probably not working as much. You have an open gate probably from the universe, just like floating. And some people probably need meditation to actually open that gate.
But everybody does. Everybody has the ability to do it. We're all been given that gift. But the problem is our society teaches us differently. Like, as soon as you're born. You don't get to choose what family you go into, so you fit in. Whatever they tell you can do and you can't do, you do if you want to fit in. If you want to survive in that family, you do what you're told to do. You don't have any choice in our society. Then you go to school, and the school teaches you how to fit in. They don't teach you how to be you. They teach you how to be something else other than you. And when you try to be you, they slap you, they beat you, they whatever it takes to get you, like in the older generations. But everything was done like that. Like, if you were left-handed, they slap your, I don't know, they did it here, slap your hand.
Switzerland
because
as well.
You're not supposed to be left-handed, you're supposed to be right-handed.
So you were like this writing, right? I mean, but binding your hand on the back.
So by the time we're done school, we know that we're supposed to fit in. So imagine now, you take it forward. You have a factory of 200 people that are fitting in. 200 people that are just robots fitting in. Imagine if you could take your factory with 200 people and let them be idea receivers. What a different company you would have.
You have any idea how to do that?
Yeah, but it's all in the teaching. That's why my wife said I'm supposed to be a minister. I'm supposed to teach this to the world. So you're actually,
so it's actually, you're actually thinking that's the path for you to go, to help organizations to rethink the whole I'm a robot kind of, and I feel like that. I really
Yeah,
struggle with working because I'm like, fuck, I cannot work these standard jobs. And I
that's
have no
right.
other choice. I have to be there at 6:30 in the morning. If I let my body do what the body does, I wake up in the summer, now in the longest days, around 6:45, sometimes at 6, right? But
Yeah,
I'm definitely not awake before 6 o'clock. And then I would have to do it every day because that's how it is. I'm like, seriously, people, we can do it different. No, this is how it works. I'm like, why are you so square in your head? For me, it's like, I have such a hard time. So I would love to have people going around the planet and just shaking it up and like, hey, we are all different. We have different skills. We have different gifts. We have different abilities, right?
yeah,
To bring ideas through the world and make this a better place. So yeah, but basically to go back, so we all are able to open it, but we all need to learn our way because we were closed down.
yes,
And you already mentioned a lot of these different reasons why we closed down. For me, it's also like the whole YouTube and tablets and all these things for small kids. They don't learn to think anymore for themselves. It's just consume, right? So you're not yourself because you just consume and you want to be the YouTube star because they make money and they play
yes,
computer games all day. I mean, my son, 8 years old, like I want to be Minecraft YouTuber so I can earn a lot of money and play GT5. Like seriously, I'm like, fuck you. You were so creative, not just 2 years ago, right?
yeah,
And the general feedback here in Denmark, because we are really bad with cell phones, and I'm addicted to the stupid cell phone as well. It's yeah, but it's so hard, and then we have to be on top of the kids. No, we just have to take it away. Let the kids be fucking bored. So they're so bored, they have no other way of opening up for the ideas that come through them.
yes,
I mean, that's how it was for me as a kid. There was nothing to do. My friend was sick. It was a really bad day. And you're like, I'm not allowed to watch TV. And then you just sit on your bed and like, what the fuck should I do? And half an hour later, 45 minutes later, suddenly you had like all these ideas. And then you had to go for dinner and brush your teeth and go to bed. And you're like, fuck, I have all these ideas.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You remember that from your childhood as well, or?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but so the next thing was, of course, your wife telling you she sees the ideas coming in, and you were not flabbergasted, or what was going on in you?
Yeah, no, I was shocked. I was like, I didn't. How does she know? How does she know what I'm doing? Like she knows everything I'm doing, everything I'm thinking all the time. That's her gift. Like that's
Oh,
her gift.
have you changed the way you're thinking around her after you realized that she's doing that?
Yeah, that's what. If you watch my inner child talk, you're gonna see what happened with my wife.
Okay.
Because like she knew me as the tough guy. Nobody screws with him. He doesn't cry. He doesn't have feelings. That's who she married. So you watch the video, you're gonna see that she's seen somebody else
Yeah,
in
we have
me.
to link it. We have to link that stuff. We have to link
Yeah.
a lot of things. I mean, you bring so much information. We have to see it that I get a lot of links from you for different businesses, perhaps articles we could find. I would love the audience to be able to actually go deeper and see for themselves, right? Or read for
Yeah.
themselves. So how are you doing? I mean, I have a big goal setting here in the middle of my notepad. How is goal setting working for you before you had your I call it an awakening, right? I mean, you said you were not spiritual, you didn't believe in these things, and now you talk
Yeah.
about the universe and getting through, and it's not your ideas. So for me, that sounds like an awakening which happened. So how was the goal setting before, and how do you see goal setting now? What is important for goal setting?
Yeah, but I've never been a goal setting guy. Never. I've always just lived in the moment. Because I was always surviving, right? I was
Yeah,
just
it sounds
surviving.
more you were thriving than surviving.
Yeah, no, but I would survive in every situation. I could see the advantage in every situation because everything was wide open for me from, you know, being having fighting at school. Like, and be noticing, like I would go with somebody on a coffee truck and like I'd be buying the root off them. And I'd say, who serves that factory? They were there for 25 years. And they go, I don't know. What time's their break? I don't know. You've been here 25 years and you don't even know? You drive by this place every day. It's like you don't even know it exists. It's right in front of your face. It's a big factor. It's a big opportunity. See, I never let any opportunities go. I always, I'd see them, I'd do them.
Okay, so you don't have the big goals, but you just see stuff. Okay, but then the other thing, I mean,
the one sandwich company I was at, they asked, like when I built that $30 million company, the guy asked me, he says, I want to sell sandwiches to IKEA. And I said, what? What does that have to do with me? He goes, I want you to go get IKEA. And I go, IKEA has cafeterias. Why would they want to buy sandwiches from us? He goes, I want IKEA. I'm paying you. You go get it. I went, whatever. So I made a meeting. I went to IKEA. And like I said to the lady, I'm trying to make it up. Right? I'm going, but you should buy your sandwiches off us. And she goes, why? I go, you make the meals and then we'll make the sandwiches. And she goes, I don't get it. Why are you even here? Like, I don't even know why I had this meeting with you. And I go, because I'm supposed to make your sandwiches. I was told to come. I got to make your sandwiches. And she goes, no, like, forget it. Like, you're not going to get our sandwiches. I said, they'll all be the same. Every store. You make the meals, we'll make the sandwiches. And it just then, this other lady come running into our meeting. And the head lady, she's going, we're in a meeting. Like, get out. She goes, no, it's important. They were doing renovations on their cafeteria. She goes, health department's here. They just closed us down. They closed down our cafeteria. She goes, what? She goes, she looks at me. She goes, no. She goes, oh, this meeting definitely over. I got to go. I go, no, the meeting just started. She goes, what are you talking about? And I said, it just started. I said, how many sandwiches you need? She goes, I need like 900. I said, I'll have them here in an hour and a half. She goes, how are you going to have 900 sandwiches here in an hour and a half? I set everything up. I set up that company. I built all the sales. I set up the production. This was like noon. I already know what the production was up to that time in the day. So I just called my company and said, I know which ones have already been made. Here's the top 5 sellers for you because I know they're already made. I said, you're going to have 900 here in an hour and a half. And sure enough, they showed up in an hour and a half.
But okay,
she goes, how did you do that? And I said, that's what I do. That's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I do.
That's what you have been trying to tell our listeners for 1.5 hours now. It's like, it just comes to you. This is synchronicity. How can you be there for a meeting and you are there for a meeting at IKEA, and exactly then, while you're in the meeting and about to close, this lady comes in, we cannot, health department comes, we have to close. I mean, that's not a coincidence. That's a sign that it was meant to be. I mean, the other story, which I really liked when we talked, was about your son and the land architecture, or what is it, gardening company. How was that again? Your son worked for someone and he felt like you need to talk to him, and how was that?
Yeah, no, my son called me. It was in the spring, and this was like 5 years ago. It was in the spring, and he said, Dad, you got to come up and coach my boss. And I said, why? He goes, we have no business. We have zero business. It's the spring. If we don't get any work, I'm out of work. He goes, I'll be out of a job. And I go, I don't know landscaping. He goes, I don't care. This is right after I started these micro markets. And I said, I don't know anything about landscaping. He goes, you didn't know anything about micro markets either, and you did it. He goes, just come up and coach my boss. And I said, okay, whatever. And that's when I thought, that's the first time I coached somebody from the universe. So I went to this guy and I thought, I tried coaching people before and it didn't work. It was this disaster because I thought I was the one. I have to get them all the business. I have to show them where all the answers are. No, my job is to show them where the answers are, not what their answers are. Their answers are different than my answers. I just got to show them where the answers are. So that's what I told him. I went into him. I said, listen, I'm going to come here every Saturday or Sunday. You can pick. I said, for 3 hours. And I said, and then what I'm going to do is I drive 40 minutes from my house to your house. So in that 40 minutes, I'm going to be with the universe. The universe is going to tell me what to do. And then I'm going to come there and I'm going to tell you what to do because I have no idea anything about landscaping. So I just know how to do things. So anyway, so he just looked at me and said, you can fire me anytime. I said, I'm just going to do what I do. And you can fire me if you don't see results. And he just looked at me and laughed. And I went there for the first meeting. Like we had the first meeting after that, the next weekend. And I said, I don't know anything. You got to tell me about landscape. What do you do? So he told me for 3 hours. At the end, I said, you serve billionaires. Billionaires are your customer. They don't like what they do. They hate their life, but they make a lot of money. So you're not going to serve their houses. You're going to serve these properties they have. They buy properties out in the country, 100 acres, small cabin, and they go there to be with the universe. Universe gives them all their ideas. That's how it works. You're going to put the right plants in the right places for them to get their ideas from the universe. And he just said, really? I go, I'm telling you, that's what it is. That's what it's all about for you. And I said, in fact, someone's going to call you on Tuesday. And on Tuesday, when they call you, they're going to want you to go see their property on Saturday. It's going to be 100 acres, small cabin. And it goes, I said, so you're going to accept it. Usually you turn that interview down. You're going to accept it. We're going to go there. They're going to ask you a lot of questions. They're testing you. Want you to be truthful and honest. Answer. If you know the answer, tell them the answer. If you don't, say you'll look into it. I said, but that's what's going to happen. I'm going to come with you. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to be with you. He went, yeah, okay. Tuesday he calls me. They called. I go, I told you, it's Saturday, right? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, how did you know? I don't know. All I know is I know. Because it's not me. So we'll go on Saturday. We go on Saturday. We show up. We drive up in the driveway. And here it is. There was a woman, executive producer of a big TV show. And she says, welcome to my place. We look over, small cabin. She goes, I have 100 acres here. Let me show you my property. So we take a look at the property after an hour of her testing him, questioning him. Like he just thought that was just routine, right? So anyways, she says, do you want to go see another property? And he says, yeah, okay. So we get in his truck. I go, see, she was testing you. He goes, no, she was just asking questions. No, she's testing you. She wants to see if you pass the test. And you've never taken the test because you've never shown up for this meeting. You always turn it down. That's why you haven't got the business. We're going to go to the next property. That's the property. And it was like one of the biggest companies in Canada. Is his property. His daughter was getting married there. It was a huge, huge project. And we got the project. And we did no advertising. We didn't do up his trucks. All the stuff I did before, we didn't do any of that. All we did was draw them in. But just let him be who he is and to be himself. And then he got that project. And then he got a whole bunch of other all billionaire customers. And I said to him, you're going to be in a magazine. He goes, which one? I go, I don't know because I don't know your industry. I have no idea what magazines you have. No idea. So here I'm driving in my truck and here comes, I'm driving in my truck way out of town. I lose the radio signal. So I hit the search button. CBC radio comes on, Randy Bachman DJing a rock show. I thought, I like Randy Bachman. I like rock. I'm going to listen. So Randy Bachman comes on. He says, you got to call Harold Smith Magazine, biggest landscaping magazine in Canada. And then he went back to the rock show. And I thought, well, if that's not a message, I don't know what is. Because what does that have to do with rock show?
Exactly.
And getting back to what I was talking about before, I don't even know if that's what he said. That's what I heard. Yeah. He could have said something else. I don't know what he said. All I know is I heard it with my soul. Call Harold Smith. I called Harold Smith the next day. And I said, I've got this guy, he's a guru landscaper. He puts the right plants in the right places for billionaires to get their ideas from the universe. Want to do a story on him? It sounds like cuckoo. I never would have done that in my whole life. Ever. Never. And he says, yeah, okay. He says, can we interview the billionaires? I go, sure you can. They're going to tell me that. Sure they are. He goes, okay. I get off the call and I thought, I haven't asked anybody. This is, well, now I really got myself in a spot. So then I asked one of the billionaires. I said, they're doing a story on David and Harrowsmith. And she says, oh, you got him in Harrowsmith? I go, yeah. She goes, oh, that's great. I said, so he's a guru. And she goes, yeah. And it's stories about how he puts the right plants in the right places for you to get your ideas from the universe. She goes, how did you know? I said, I don't know. I just know. That's right, right? She goes, yeah. And I said, would you do the interview? Actually, we're going to do the story on you, not on him. So I gave it away too. I gave away the story.
Yeah.
But he's in the story.
Like you shared at the beginning, right? When you said we give it away, we don't do it about yourself, but giving away. And I love it that we are getting this circle, right? We have like, and so the story was about the billionaire, which got the landscaper, or was the story about the landscaper?
Well, the story was about how the landscaper puts the right plants, the right places for the billionaires to get the right ideas from the universe. The story was called Organic Landscaping, Food for the Soul. That was the name of the article. Wow. See, when I went to, here's the big thing. I tried, I knew that the article was coming. I didn't know where, right? So, because I was still thinking it was me. So I went to all my friends that got me in all the magazines and newspapers before, and they all thought I was crazy. I'm telling them the story. And the one girl, she goes, stop talking. You're driving me crazy. You're driving me crazy. What kind of story are you talking about? See what I'm saying? That was my old world. That wasn't my new world. My new world just agreed with everything.
Yeah.
So you see, it's like I told him, I said, you go get 500 copies. Give them to all the billionaires. It's their properties. They're going to give it to all their friends. Say, look, is your landscaper in the magazine? No, mine is. Look at you. My property is in here because they have big egos.
Yeah.
And then he gets all the billionaire customers now. No advertising. No doing up the truck.
It's the advertisement from the universe, so to speak, right?
Yeah, but just do what you're told to do. See, we think we control it. We're not it. We're not it. We're not it. Definitely not it.
Wow.
We're just messengers.
Jesus. Okay. I mean, how do we wrap this up now? I guess we have talked. I mean, I could talk longer with you, but I don't know how the attention span of my listeners is. So we definitely can talk about other things on another episode, and I would love to get feedback, right, about what I could ask you. So if we kind of wrap it up, who knows how long this wrap up will be?
Sorry.
That's why my podcast has no limits. If it's half an hour long or 3 hours, I don't care. I want my guests to be able to share without being limited. So the thing is now for the listeners, they're like, yeah, but you talk all the time about being yourself, be yourself, like be your authentic self, throw away all these masks, draw in the right people, draw in the right experiences, draw in everything, do what you're told to do, but then and be the open channel, right, for receiving the information.
Yes.
But and you say we all have it inside, right? And I already asked you before, so what can the people do? You don't take drugs, you said. You don't, to get rid of the barriers. I mean, a lot of times these barriers, and I can see it with my family, with my friends, right? The alcohol is like the first one, cannabis is the other one, and then of course nowadays there's other things to actually let go, like, oh, if I don't drink, I'm not myself, right? And there we go, right? Be yourself. So how can we distinguish between ego thought, like I have to get that job because otherwise I cannot pay my bills, otherwise I cannot take care of my kids or whatever it is, I need to go there because I want to be there for whatever, find my love of my life, whatever. How do you know? I mean, by now you definitely know, but when you started learning, what is ego talk? What is your mind? What is this 3D material version, and what is the insight from the universe which wants to push you. I mean, we all know the angels will give you input, and it's your free will to choose to do it or not.
That's right.
Right. So we are not forced to do it, but we get this input. So how do you know on what to listen and what not?
But it's a matter of, it's the same as me. It took me a long time. I had to try stuff. So you got to let go on. You can't let go of everything, because then, see, you're in one life and then you got to go to another life, right? So that in between. So when I went from one life to another, I lost everything.
So how do you mean? Like you still have your family,
everything.
Right? You still have your
No,
family.
I got my family, but I lost basically all my possessions, put it that way. Because I went through a change, and that was my choice. I'm not blaming anybody. It's my choice, right? Because I had to let go. I couldn't sustain the other life unless I kept on being who I was in that life. So I'm not saying just go from one life to another. It's a matter of learning, like doing small steps, trying things, like doing that investment, like going in and getting those factories, doing this new technology, and saying, like, I had nothing to lose, right? I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue, but I'll figure it out. Like, we even set it up and nobody bought the first time. And I had to figure out how to get through that wall, and I did. And I didn't even know how to set it up. And I just had people come. And I had a friend come to help me. He goes, "What's the plan?" I go, "I don't know. What plan? What are you talking about? I don't even know what I'm doing." He goes, "Yeah, but we're setting up today." I go, "Yeah, but the guys are coming. Cabinet guys coming, kiosk guys coming, like fridge guys coming. They know what they're doing. I don't have to know. I'm just going to let them do their thing." And we did it. We set it up. But I had to let go. I had to let go of that. That it wasn't impacting anything else I was doing at the time. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to give up everything to switch. Like, as long as you know you're on a path to switching, it's on a path to finding out that you're not it. Like, and letting go. So you got to see, like, things can happen. It's like the landscaper. I told him, just do it. Just go to the meeting. See, he wouldn't have gone.
Yeah.
But I'm right there. I'm with him. You're doing it. And he did it. He did everything I told him. Then he went, "Oh my God, it actually worked."
I mean, he always could have stepped out and say, "You know what? No, this is uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. This feels wrong." But he followed you because he trusted you, because whatever feedback you gave him beforehand somehow resonated with him. And for me, how it resonates with me is really like getting these impulses. Now, for me, I got an impulse for the beginning of the year to April, and in April the impulse was really strong, like, give up that apartment now and just get rid of all your possessions, like the possessions which are not you, like the most 70-80% of my things. And then you go to Sweden, Estonia. I still don't know if that's a good choice. Now I don't know if my ego tells me, like, hey, you waited too long, you should be on the way by now, or if I'm meant to wait until August, right, until my kids are back to school. So, but I'll follow it. It's very uncomfortable, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling letting go my old possessions and the toys for the kids and all these things. Like, yeah, but they need something to play with, and I want them to be creative, and they're only 8 and 11. They should, they should not have a tablet. They should have toys to play and be creative, tell stories. But that's where I am right now. So talking to you, it kind of feels like, okay, let go of the old. Just the table, the couch, the bed, everything can be bought again. Everything can be bought again. There's a few pictures and videos and books and perhaps paintings I made, which I can probably store somewhere, and the rest I can let go. I think that's for me. I don't know if it's the right path, but I guess this is what you say. It's like, try out whatever impulse comes through you, whatever idea.
Yeah. But you got to try some stuff, and then you'll see how it happens. Like, that it happens. Like David Delancey, he calls me the magic man, because he doesn't know how else to explain it.
The magic
like he goes, "I don't know, the guy came, we talked, he had no notes, no books, nothing. He goes, but then he goes, somehow customers showed up. And all we were doing was talking. They showed up. And it wasn't just that they showed up. He goes, they give me the jobs I've always wanted to do. And I don't have to struggle to get my money. They just pay me.
Yeah, but
I don't know. He goes, I don't know how it happened. But how did it happen? He doesn't know how to say it. He goes, it was magic. But it's not magic. It's just natural.
Yeah, I don't know where to put our podcast. I mean, it's business podcast, but it's also from, you know, depression of stressing and to expressing and letting the flowing through you. I mean, for me, the expression in the talk we have here is the flow. It's the flow of ideas. It's the flow. And you have said, I'm open to help others, and it just comes through you. And when I look at you, and through this talk, I mean, I had ups and downs inside myself, right? And I'm like, how the heck? I cannot imagine this Richard being this like bully, whatever, you know, fearful guy. I just see the smile. I see the soft bear. I just think of Gremlins and the Lemmings, the Grizzly and the Lemmings or whatever, the series.
Yeah.
So that's really like this change from depression to expression, from compression, from stress to flow, kind of in your case. But it's also like a business talk, right? It's also like, you know, I mean, Steve Jobs opened us up to say, hey, I meditate and the ideas are coming to me. Where before Steve Jobs, no one was daring to say something like that. Not even Schwarzenegger, which actually also did TM meditation when he had to handle his bodybuilding career, his apartments he had, and his starting Hollywood career, right? There was a lot of things, and he used meditation to get through that, to get a clear head and knowing what to do. And that was in the 80s, right? And he never said anything like that until whatever, 5 years ago. So we definitely have seen a big shift in the last 10, 15 years, that the business world, not everything has to be in an Excel list sheet, right? To like calculate and think. And it's, you just share, like, let it through you. Trust. It's not your idea. You're just a vehicle. You're just a vessel.
Yeah. But it is. And I'm not saying drugs are bad. I'm not saying smoking's bad. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying you don't need it. Like, you don't need anything. You don't need any stimulant. You already have it. You don't need a stimulant. Like I say, think back to the car. A car could go real fast if you put gas, you put alcohol in that carburetor. But the car is burnt out.
Yeah.
The engine's gonna blow.
Yeah, you can also drive in the red zone with the car, and the engine will not run as long as it would when you slow down a bit, right?
Well, it's just seeing the picture in the picture. Like, if you live in the outside picture with your eyes and your ears, that's where you're going to end up. Everything it doesn't make any sense. And we're thinking we have to make everything fit inside that picture. But that's where it doesn't make sense. And we're thinking that the inside picture doesn't make sense. But that's where it does make sense.
Now that you say it's, I think you're talking about the 3D images, right? It's computer animated 3D images. I don't remember iMagic or whatever they're called.
Yeah, I can't remember what it's called, but that's like, I'm trying to think of ways of explaining it in a way that you've already seen. Because if I'm talking to somebody new, I'm talking to their eyes and their ears. I'm not talking to their soul yet. Like, once I can reach their soul, they got everything. But they got to let me in. They got to let me in. And it's about everything about, like, religion and all. Like, they talk about having faith, and you have to have faith. You have to have faith. I can see everything they're saying. It's like everybody's trying to, like, in all these different ways, they're trying to explain it in a way that you'll get it. But it's always talking to the eyes and the ears. You got to get through the eyes and the ears to get to the soul. Like, once people can understand, like, if I can get your soul, you got it. You're going to get it all. You're going to see it right away. You're going to feel it. You're going to see it. But I got to get in there somehow.
Yeah, I feel this drive you have now. I'm just imagining your family being around a complete different dad.
Yeah.
And the friends. I mean, how is it with friends now? You feel like you have friends now and you can trust not to stab you when you show weakness?
Yeah. Yeah. No, but the friends that I have are real friends now. But they can see it too. They call me the magic man as well. Is it like we run into difficulties and we always find a way through it. That's the one guy that told me I'm not going to die. He goes, "You always find the answer. Somehow, you always find the answer. Always. Like we get run up against a challenge that we can't beat and we think we can't beat. And he goes, then you find an answer for it the next day. And I go, but it's a matter of just letting go, like saying, like I said, like when I did that cafeterias, the first break, everybody told me to go to hell. And the boss, he goes like, oh my God, what did we do? And I go, it's okay, don't worry, just a wall. You gotta just get through the wall. I said, just leave me for a couple of minutes. So I go off to myself and I just go like, tell me how to do it. I don't know how to do this. What do I do? What do I do? And all I got was give him $5. So I went back to the boss and said, give everybody $5. He goes, why? I go, I don't know, just give him $5. Next break, everybody signed up and everybody started buying. Like right away.
Yeah.
And that was the answer. It was like I say, like it's always like most people when they hit the wall, they stop. That's it, I'm done. It's not over until you say it's over. You decide when it's over. You decide. So if you hit a wall and you're stuck, like if you say it's over, then you're done. If you say it's not over, give me some answers. Just give me some answers and just let it go. It's not me. Tell me what to do. I'm supposed to win here. And then you get the answers.
Yeah, and your mindset is everyone is meant to win, right? So
Yes,
it's not about, because we all have our different skills and different gifts. And you know, when you talked about everyone calls you the magic man, I'm like, you know, magic carpet ride, but that was something else.
Yeah.
But I love it. I mean, it's great. And
so
and how do you love your life now? I mean, compared to before you were stressed and now you just smile, you feel relaxed, you have like all this energy.
But I don't have the possessions I had. But it's okay. It doesn't matter. See, what you're supposed to have will come. If I'm supposed to have nothing, I'll have nothing. If I'm supposed to have a lot, I'm going to have a lot. I'm okay with whatever it is. It's okay. Because I had everything, it doesn't matter. I wasn't happy having everything. I wasn't happy. It didn't mean anything. I had no friends. It's like, you know, you love boats, eh? You love boats, but you're told, okay, I'm going to give you the biggest and the best boat in the world. But every day you have to go on that boat with all these people that hate you. How long are you going to like boats?
Oh shit, yeah. And you feel the energy, even if you don't know it. You feel the energy of the people that hate you.
And they know when I go and do these cafeterias, like a lot of the HR people come and go, what did you do to our people? I go, what are you talking about? You changed the culture in here. And I go, what are you talking about? I just come. They go, yeah, but everybody they're talking about the cafeteria. It's a cafeteria. They love going. They love talking to you. They love you being here. But they just know, like, you know, when you walk in the door of any place, people know who you are. It just comes off of you. It's all around you.
Yeah.
If you look at animals, like we're the only different thing on the planet. Like we're the only different thing. We're the only thing that has schooling. When was the last time a duck went to school to learn how to have a baby?
Oh, I didn't learn that at school.
No, but you see what I'm saying? Like, see, the animals, they just listen to the universe. The universe tells them what to do, they do it. That's it. We're the only ones that screw it all up.
Yeah, but you can also call that it's the contrast. It's the contrast we have to go through. It's the whale, which has been, you know, the French people say, shh, forget everything when you're born, right? That's why you have the crevice here under the nose, because the angels put the finger. So you forget, and then you have the whale. So you forget about everything. So you can experience the separation from God. So you can experience the lack of love and the material world. Otherwise you will not appreciate the love and the abundance and the flow if you do not experience the contrast, many say, or the black and white, the plus minus, the evil and the good. But I love it. Of course, in my world, more and more people are awakening. More and more people are reacting like you.
Yeah.
And I just love it. But of course, I'm also hitting the wall with friends. I have to be very careful talking like that. I have to be very careful to whom I say things like that, because it's.
You gotta let go. See, thing is, you gotta let go. You can't control them.
No, I cannot. So I'm just like, okay, whatever.
But you're not it. You don't have. It doesn't matter. If they come, they come. If they go, they go. And you gotta be. So you gotta be okay with that.
Yeah, I'm getting better and better, right? It's like it's kind of like a game sometimes for me, because I just, with some friends, I just have to find out, and they get so pissed with the world situation now. I'm like, it's all a game. We cannot change it.
Learn a new word. Whatever.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it sometimes I feel like I'm an asshole when I say whatever happens in the world, right? Because there's suffering. But on the other hand, I don't feel the suffering here. So why should I suffer for something which is somewhere else? And I have the feeling, and I'm in the belief, that the more I feel the warmth, like we talked before, like when the ideas come through me and they feel right, I think that's when I have thoughts and my heart gets warm, my chest gets warm, I feel like this tingling in all my body. Then I know these are not egoistic thoughts. These are thoughts which are meant to come through me. Yeah. And the more I have these feelings, the more I allow these feelings, the better the world will be. The more I the more I affect or get the people around me in a better state. And I see that sometimes, right? When I go in a shop and I have an older person, a woman, a man, and they're not so happy, and I just look in their eyes and I smile, a big smile, and they just start smiling and stand up more straight.
Mm-hmm.
So now I gave a positive feedback to someone I don't know. So and I had a talk yesterday, I think, or the day before, and she was really crushed about the whole Corona situation and how people are holding distance to them. And I said, people are not after you, and they're not after your father. Try to come from your heart, and that's also what we learn. We go with the shoulders forward instead of backwards, right? The Superman pose.
Yeah.
And come with the heart first, right? I mean, some people come with their hips first, but yeah, that's a different story. But if you come with the chest and the heart first, and you just act from love and compassion, and like you say, someone says words, and you're like, okay, whatever. So I feel you. You had a hard day. You had a hard childhood. You had something going on, and you still are friendly and smiling and trying to help that person. And only that way we change the world. Otherwise, we stay where we are. That's kind of like how I feel. There's a one big thing I've been looking at several times now. How many ego deaths did you experience? How many times do you remember that a part of you died so you could evolve further? Probably you call it puzzle pieces. I don't know.
Oh, quite a bit. It's happened a lot. See, in the beginning, it's hard. It's hard when you think you're it, and then you find out you're not. It's hard to let go of that. Like it's hard to say. Like when they did an article on the cafeterias that I started to do, I gave that one away too. I gave that away to the factory owner, and it's hard to say to the newspaper guy, listen, if you don't do the story on them, there's no story. Because they want to do the story, on me. And it's, no, you can't do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm in the story, but it's really hard to let go of that. Like, it's hard to, like, I don't know, when you see it, like you publish, that, hey, made another newspaper. Like, there's always something there in your ego. And it's a matter of not being able to say that. If I make it, I'm trying to say something, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I can see you try to think. I mean, one thing I see, when you were 13 in the 8th grade, an ego part of you died because you've identified yourself with being the strong guy, beating up the others.
Yeah.
And now that part of you died in that week because you realized, but it was an easy one, right?
Yeah.
Fighting your father and saving your mom definitely was another part. The shy, afraid kid died. And then, of course, when you were 55, the part which says, I have to have the ideas, because if I give them away for free, I will not have them.
Yeah.
Right. And there's many others in between, but I can see your thinking. I put something in your head there, so I don't want to torture you. You can think of it while you're driving your truck. I mean, we had 2 hours, I think, now. So I think we let the listeners from the hook now, so they can finish cutting their grass and take off the headset now and actually listen to the lawnmower instead of our podcast, or watch the street and listen to music instead of listening to us. And focus on their work. So how can people reach you, find out more about you? I mean, we connected on LinkedIn. I don't know if there's anything you want
LinkedIn is the biggest thing for it now. Like, this is just the beginning of the new life for me right now. Like, I have a real easy email. It's the easiest one for me is richard@stomachman.com.
Isn't that the one which died?
Yeah. No, but see, the thing is, I created Stomach Man. So I had, when I came in with the coffee trucks into the city, and I put 35 there in 1 year in a city called Guelph. When I came, though, I called the company Tri-City Food Service. But the thing was, see, I was always trying to let go. Like, I want people to see who I am inside. Like, because all they ever saw was what I was outside. They never seen what I was inside. And so I created the company. I called it Tri-City Food Service. But then I was driving one day, and it just came to me, if you want people to see inside, you have to create something that they can see. So you need a new name. You need a superhero, because superheroes are always hiding. So the superhero, like the song, the Superman song, like the one line in there, it says, it's easy to be Superman. It's hard to be me. That's the line at the end, and that's the truth. So I thought, like, what do I do? Like, I'm in the food business, so I created Stomach Man. So my character was a stomach. And what it is, I turned all my trucks into Stomach Man rescue vans. And I drove around the Stomach Man patrol unit. And because what it was I had the trucks all done up as Tri-City Food Service. They were all fancy trucks, proper lettering and all this, but, nice rims on the trucks and everything. But nobody would look at me. Like, I'd pull up to a set of lights, and I'd be sitting there in my truck, proud as can be. It's all clean. It's all real fancy and everything. And nobody would look at me. I sit at the lights, and everybody's just in their day, right? With no expression on their face, nothing, just sitting at the traffic light. When I created Stomach Man, all of a sudden I did the first Stomach Man truck. I'm driving down the road. I stop at a set of lights. Everybody's looking at my truck, and everybody's reading it, Stomach Man Rescue Van. And then they would laugh. So they remembered me with a smile. Say, like, they noticed and they remembered me with a smile. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to see me. So I got to be me through Stomach Man, creating that personality. So that was separate. So I was me, but I wasn't me. I was Stomach Man, but I wasn't Stomach Man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could do all the fun things I always wanted to do through Stomach Man, because that was Stomach Man. But then all of a sudden, all my customers were calling and saying, like, we want, like, I answer the phone, hello, Tri-City Food Service. I go, oh, I thought I was calling Stomach Man. I go, well, this is Stomach Man. No, we want Stomach Man to come to our place. So all of my customers wanted to leave me to come to me.
Oh, yeah. So you were cannibalizing your own business.
Yeah, but it was, I'm just saying, the point is, I was becoming me as Stomach Man, and that was making me better than I was not being Stomach Man. So not being me was bigger than not being me.
I guess now you confused everyone completely.
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. See, who you are is better than who you're being.
Yes. I mean, I love Jim Carrey's videos from the last years, like where he also talks about who is playing Jim Carrey, right?
Yeah.
Like, right. So that's why he was depressed as well, like being an actor, always playing roles, but being himself, right?
That's right.
I don't know how far he is there now because these videos are a little bit older, but yeah. But anyway, so we have you on the Stomach Man, Richard at Stomach Man. So that's the best email. I think that's what the American web pages always ask. Give me your best email. I'm like, seriously?
But it's easy to remember. It's easy to remember. Like if I have, I don't know, like any company, you could have any company and it's hard to remember the name. Yeah. It's like when I did up my trucks, like I would, the people go, you actually put Stomach Man on your trucks. And I go, yeah, isn't it great? I go, if you drove around all day today. They said, yeah. And I said, tell me the name of one truck that you've seen. Just one. Tell me the name of one truck that you've seen. Tell me the name. They couldn't think of anything. I go, but if you've seen Stomach Man, you remember Stomach Man. Everybody remembers it. Everybody.
Yeah. Now everyone remember that from this. We won't call the episode Stomach Man because that definitely will. But anyway, so is there anything I forgot today which is on your heart that you want to let go?
No, I just want the world to be a better place.
That's also why I'm here, right? That's why I have these two podcasts, which I'm actually thinking of if I should not merge them back to one, because for me as well, I want to help people. Yeah. I want to help people to be in flow. I want to help people to be creative, because creativity, I think when you're truly creative, you're happy. And when you're happy, you're good to your family, you're good to your spouse, you're good to your friends, you're fun to be around at work. And you're good with the people on the street, and by that you create a better world, and you do not need all the material possessions. Like you said it, you don't have the material possessions anymore as you did, because you don't need it.
Yeah.
Right. So
happy comes first.
Yeah, happy comes first. That's why this color.
Yeah.
It's a happy yellow.
Yeah.
Super. But thank you very much for today. And listeners, I hope I say it enough. Please send an email, send a voicemail on Anchor. Yeah, now I have to ask, anchor.fm/Schirach. That's like the best way to get a message to me, SCHIRACH. Or connect with Richard Zinck with Z or C, depending what kind of English you use, on LinkedIn or on his Stomach Man email. And if you want to have more questions answered, please send the questions to us, and we will have a second show. We might even come up with a second show without you, but I would love to get questions in from listeners. Thank you, Richard, so far.
Yeah, thank you. I really enjoyed it.